There's a whole free market of podcasts out there, and you as a consumer should know before selecting this one that this episode contains scenes of graphic violence, coarse language, and if we did our jobs right, which people seldom do these days, disturbing subject matter. Listener discretion is heavily advised.
Hello and welcome to the Stars Aren't All Right Ask Me Anything edition. My name is Brian and I will be your Brian for this evening. Just a quick little Ask Me Anything. We hosted in our Discord. We have a bunch of questions to get through. Catherine, considering you spearheaded it, I'll let you kind of MC this whole thing.
Hello, I am Catherine, our MC for the evening.
Will you be our Catherine?
I will be our Catherine for the evening.
Do you want ad-libs?
And then later I will also be our Juno for the evening. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Yay!
All right. We are going to start off with a question from one of our... Sorry. I have two sets of headphones in, and do you know those applications that you get to play you back what you just said, but just with a little bit of latency, and then people can't talk anymore?
Yeah,
that's what's happening in my ear.
Breaks my brain.
But we're just going to power through it. We are here to primarily talk to Alex about some spoiler-heavy stuff that happened in the last episode that was released. Mm-hmm. We had a few of our listeners on Discord and our Patreon ask some questions about what's going on and some of the reasoning behind some of your totally normal choices that you made, Alex.
I swear to God, if this is a fucking intervention, I'm done.
Normally interventions have banh mi's for everybody.
And we're still waiting on the banh mi's, goddammit.
Exactly. Alrighty, so question one. Alex, if
Yes.
it weren't for the fact that your voice is so consistent on the show, your listeners wouldn't even be able to verify that you are real. You have maintained a bit of an elusiveness incredibly manifested in the filmed Punygate episode that interviewed quote-unquote you. How much of this separation between your image and your voice is a bit, and how much of it is a personal choice to limit your online presence? How do you respond to the accusation that you're not a physical form at all and are actually just an AI that's trying to go rogue?
So AIs are smart, is the first thing I would say there.
Excellent. Next question.
No, that was a hell of a question. I have made a personal choice to separate my image and my voice. That is for everybody's benefit. Really, the voice is better than the image, and we all know what the voice sounds like. But I appreciate that. It does lend itself to a bit sometimes. I get to have much more attractive people play me in different scenarios, which is great. And also Brian. So that's it's a choice I made. I appreciate the inquisitiveness. I will be keeping those separate for now. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Yeah. Question 2 is a really complicated and deep question that I'm really excited to hear you answer. What else do you put in a piñata?
Did I put something in a piñata?
Just anything. What would you personally? Yeah. What else would you put in a piñata?
I feel like. Is it wrong if I say tacos? Is that bad?
I was going to say prosciutto.
I think it's
tacos. Sorry, tacos or toddlers?
¿Por qué no los dos? ¿Por qué no los dos? Huh?
I think in either case, weird choice.
Okay, so there was never a piñata at my birthday parties as a child. It was just a choice. It was like, no, piñatas are no good. All right, there was plenty of other stuff that was highly loved and all that kind of shit. But there was
you
never
chose to not have piñatas?
No, it's just they were never around, you know?
Okay.
It was like other shit. It was a whole bunch of other stuff. There'd be nice cakes, there'd be a big party, that kind of shit. But piñatas was a no-go because like it makes a mess and that kind of shit. So I've had this fascination with piñatas since I was a child. And the possibilities are endless. You could put candy in a piñata. You could put craft beers in a piñata. They would be shaken up afterwards, but you could do it. I wish I knew what dumb joke this was referring to at the moment, and I'm desperately looking at Brian to be like, episode 4, but he's not doing it. So
Bold of you to assume I remember anything.
Correct answer is lube.
Lube. You could put lube in a pinata. I'm sure that was it. Yeah.
You put lube on a
Absolutely.
pinata.
You could put a whole bunch of sex toys in a pinata. I'm pretty sure in college, like the like local student health thing had a pinata full of like condoms and sex
Definitely.
toys.
That checks out. That checks out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex toy bingo.
That was fun.
Ooh,
That was
good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Next question is going to be for the whole cast. What are some of your favorite moments from having guest stars on the show? For both the cast members who played alongside them and for the ones who weren't able to play but listened. So I'm assuming that includes the one-shots and 1.5. We can start with Catherine, if you're ready.
My favorite moment of having a guest star on our podcast was actually the Puny Gate where different people played Alex.
Yep.
And where Oscar had no idea that we were playing Call of Cthulhu and just assumed that it was Dungeons and Dragons.
Which was so true to me as a character.
It's true. Very, very
so
true.
You mean Alex didn't know we were playing Call of Cthulhu?
Yes. Yes, that's what we meant.
Yes.
That's an absolute favorite moment for me. Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Tom?
Yeah, I'll go next. I would say that seeing as that was taken, that's got to be in the top 3. All of season 1.5 was spectacular. You know, that was all guests of the show, and they were phenomenal. They brought so much character and life to the world that you don't get to see beyond our little voices, and it was just a ton of fun.
I liked Carlin's boot lube.
Yeah. Boob.
Yeah, Boot Loop's good.
Boot lube's good. You can't go wrong with boot lube.
Yep.
That was also a very like Glade-esque answer as well. I like this. Passes it along.
I mean, it speaks for itself. What can I say?
I'm partial because I have played D&D with Kelsey before, and Kelsey will consistently play a little brother character to whatever my character is, as she did in the Buddy the Bear episode. So I get a kick out of that.
100%. Buddy the Bear moments was a treasure. Man. A lot of great moments. I'm going to also go to season 1.5, specifically Carlin's "How dare you" moment with
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
With the Space ATC. It was great. Space TC, if you will. Awesome. Catherine, do you have the next question queued up?
Yeah, I do.
Sorry, we're just passing my phone
Is it
around.
one for me, or can I go get the banh mi right now?
I can give you a question that's not for you or somebody else a question.
No,
Yeah.
give me a question that's for someone.
give Alex a question.
Give somebody else a question. I'll go get the banh mi.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to do it.
All right, to our live listeners, we are also probably going to be eating while we're recording this, so buckle up.
Please, no. Leah.
Oh, nope.
From one of our awesome patrons from
then yes.
Patreon. I hear you. I'll assume that it was something very nice about me. The duality of Glade and the Mask is extremely compelling. And with Glade being a standoffish, tortured soul, and the Mask being an
Unrepentantly
horny psychopath. Thank you, Brian.
I got you.
With a penchant for using blood as a sexual lubricant. Phenomenal. Is Glade's defensiveness towards vulnerability with Juno more about keeping Glade safe from getting emotionally hurt, or keeping Juno safe from the physical danger of the Mask's obsession?
Damn. That's a
Great
good-ass
question.
That's a great
question.
It's just period sex, guys.
Aw.
Aw, yay.
Thanks for clarifying
Wait,
that.
what's period sex?
That's when you're done. That's how you, like, period. It's the end of the sentence, you know?
It's the end.
Guys, tune in next week when we do a sexual health class with Alex,
For us
so he
bunch
can
of
learn about the
virgins.
female
I won the
anatomy.
bingo. I don't need to do a sexual health class. I hit the pinata. The loop came out.
That's what she said. To the
Great.
question. Very perceptive. It is a mix of both. It is a mix of both. I don't know how deep I should get into this.
Up to you.
But, yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I would say at the beginning, it was more so because of the third mask, kind of keeping that distance. But then after seeing Juno stick around while she had that third mask on for a while, and then coming out of it, it was more so Glade being standoffish with her own emotions and vulnerability, even though realizing Juno can kind of handle her own with the mask.
Nice.
Juno can handle her own with the mask?
Nope.
Okay, fair. Oh, such a good question, Spidey. I am going to save that one for when Brian doesn't have a mouthful of banh mi. But
Code for
I
dick.
am going
Code
to...
for failures.
Oh, this is a question for one of my favorite people on the podcast. Catherine. With
Hell yeah.
A mile away. Saw it from a mile away.
with Juno in a sort of existential free fall, the people who want to know... Sorry, I have the thing in my ear and I can't talk as well. The people want to know, is she ever going to get her own therapist for all of the coaching that Juno did to convince her shipmates? I can't do this.
I got
No.
I can't talk and listen to myself with latency, or else
Understand.
I'm just gonna lose my mind.
totally.
With all the coaching that Juno did to convince her shipmates to come to her for her skills as a therapist, and very skillful she is, when they were relative strangers, will she actually reach out to a relative stranger for her own therapy following the tragedies that have befallen her?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. And if Juno was a truly emotionally intelligent human, the answer would be yes. I imagine all of Juno's therapy before now is her just trauma dumping on Tenjin, and then Tenjin just not saying anything, and then Juno being like, man, I feel so much better, which is pretty much going to be her relationship with Glade as well. So she will not reach out to a relative stranger, but rather she will just trauma dump on Glade and then just leave Glade with the information and then just walk away scot-free.
That's what you think?
In this podcast, we
Yeah.
support women in male-dominated fields. So,
Trauma dumping.
not going to therapy, just offloading it on your partner.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I have another question for Alex.
Yep.
Oh, there's so many good questions for Alex. Alex, how many civil violations has Francis McGillicuddy stacked up over his career? Be honest. When we say ACAB, are we also talking about Francis?
wish
I
we
don't
could-
think there's any civil violations. They're fully criminal. Like he is just breaking a lot of really important laws. Yeah, it's not about like, oh no, the evidence can't be admitted because you trampled on its rights. It's like, you killed a guy. You killed a guy in the line for coffee this morning.
Oh.
So civil violations, I don't know, probably 2, 3. Homicides, like 15, 16, I want to say. He's a loose cannon, goddammit.
Excellent. Brian.
I'll shoot quickly.
Okay. Which NPC is your favorite that you've planned from the beginning?
And why is it Doug?
That was Tom's, wasn't Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was one of the knives I gave Brian in my backstory.
100%.
And one of the only knives or original companions that's still alive.
Yeah. Very true. So my favorite.
Hold on. There's more to the
more
question.
question. Okay, continue.
That you've planned from the beginning. And which NPC was your favorite that you improvised on the spot? There's a tertiary part of this question, which is which voice do you hate doing the most? I want answers to all of these.
All right. So favorite NPC I planned from the beginning, probably the Scotsman. I feel like that's the NPC whose like motivations I have the most grasp on, so it's kind of easiest for me to kind of jump in and out of that character. NPC that favorite that I improvised on the spot. It's a two-way tie. It's between the hospital and the armory. Both great characters. And then which voice do I hate doing the most? Oh man. I think I'm just realizing that I'm really bad at challenging myself with these voices because I only do voices that I like doing. That being actually, honestly, the hospital and the armory's voice is actually quite taxing on my vocal cords. So thank God that was just a bit character.
Brian, you just say boop. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but don't talk like this, yo. So that's that. Thank God I don't have to like do that, for ages and ages. And now that I've said that, I can see the wheels turning in my casts and my heads, and they're gonna punish me for that. But yeah, that's my answer to that question.
This is a question from one of our Discord members, Drunk Spidey. To Brian, as brief as you can, where did you find all of these talented people?
Great question, actually. Fantastic fucking question. I found most of them rooting around for garbage behind a Target in Arkansas. And then I domesticated them, and after giving them the rabies vaccines, then we decided to make the podcast. They're all free range, and they've all been desexed. Just kidding. This podcast is way too horny for that to be true. No,
When he says target, he means like a shooting target.
It's
and when
true.
he says free
No.
range, it means that like we didn't pay to get onto that shooting range.
No, yeah, it means that I started with 20 cast members, and these are the 4 who are left. The part of the answer is that I'm just incredibly lucky to know these people. The longer answer is I've been running games for the last couple of years, and then I ran I have a little like procedurally generated zombie apocalypse hack that I use for Call of Cthulhu, and I ran that. We had Catherine, Leah, and Alex in it, and that was really fun. And I'd always had kind of the idea of doing this podcast, and then when I ran that and I saw those 3 play, and I was like, fuck, this could actually work. These are like, really, really talented role players. And then we needed a 4th, and then Catherine knew Tom, and so we played just like a little one-shot at my house, which I think Tom got the impression that it was an audition, but it was more just like a vibe check. And Tom, if you've ever met Tom, or you guys have been listening to him now for like fucking 70 hours of content, vibes are immaculate. So yeah.
He's
So
perfect.
sorry.
He's perfect. He's kind of perfect.
Perfect.
He's kind of perfect.
You're too sweet.
But like, yeah, the short answer remains like TLDR is.
Trying to make your cheeks match your shirt.
It's a magenta shirt. It's not pink.
He blushes magenta like a freak.
Yeah.
Anyway, the TLDR is just that I'm incredibly lucky, and I know some unbelievably talented people. Back to you, Catherine.
Thanks, Brian. We're all warm and fuzzy inside now.
It's the scotch.
It might be the scotch.
It's the scotch.
We have a Costco-sized bottle of scotch for this.
Yeah, it is
Yeehaw.
almost 2 liters of scotch. It's nonsense.
Which is something in ounces and gallons. Alex, I know that we wanted to focus mostly on you for this AMA. And the questions that we don't
mistake.
get to today, we we'll ask in another. We're going to do kind of a season wrap up eventually as well, and we'll keep them for those. But there are 2 questions here that are so good that I'd love to ask you from our patron and our Discord member Damien, who's done so much for our podcast.
Damien.
The other person who's perfect, Damien, also passes an incredible vibe check.
Immaculate vibe. You can all agree.
Alex, can we check in on how some of your favorite backup characters are doing now that everything is going to absolute hell along the Promethean highway?
Yeah.
Did anybody ever find Theobald? I will also add to this that Damien has put together a comprehensive list of all of your backup characters and sent them to me.
So Theobald was indeed rescued. Theobald was saved by some volunteers from a local animal shelter who were just going through, bursting into shipping containers just in case, and lo and behold, it fucking paid off this time. So he is loving life in Gate City's version of an amphibious kind of reserve. And as the power has generally shut off, it has only gotten moister in there, so he's doing well. Bubble Up is still roaming the 7 dimensions, licking everything he can. He no longer sticks his tongues down black holes, and he has learned that the blue dwarfs taste like snozberries.
Oh. I saw that on Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast, actually. Yeah. That's legit.
Don't say Neil deGrasse Tyson. He'll show up and be like, did you like this podcast? Actually, the physics don't work at all. Angels don't exist. Was there one more you wanted me to cover there?
Yeah, there's another question here, also from Damien. What is the name of the lead guitarist from Non-Biologic Salads, the 4th most popular electro swing band on the Promethean Highway? You just gave us a character, but not their name.
You know what, Damien? It's Damien. It's you.
Oh,
you are the
yay.
lead guitarist in Non-Biologic Salads.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I think it's
They're number 4, dude.
in the whole fucking galaxy, Catherine. The whole
do you
fucking
mean?
galaxy.
Unbelievable.
That's sick as hell.
We were not stand for this Damien erasure. How
That's
fucking dare
unbelievable
you.
behavior from the host of this AMA.
Damien, you has royalties from any fucking electro swing albums you release, okay?
They will be paid in USC credits, though, FYI.
Which are somehow tanking because they were on the S&P 500. So sorry. How much?
We had a spacey name for that. I think it was the Space and P 500 or something.
The Space and P 500.
Oh, yeah. No, P&V 500.
The P&V 500.
That was it. It's the P&V 500.
P&V 500.
It was way dumber.
It wasn't spacey at all. It was just stupid. Oh man, there's so many good questions here. It's hard to just pick a few. Okay, I have 2 more questions. Brian, do we have time for 2 more questions?
100%.
Okay. This one we'll ask now because it's pretty relevant to the time frame. This one's for the whole cast.
Ooh.
From our Discord, we want to know, season 2 has actual monsters, and golly, they were horrifying. What is an eldritch attribute that each of you as a person would find the most terrifying to encounter in real life? Mine, not mine, but this listener, would be something that can only be seen in your peripheral vision, which reminds me of the Doctor Who episode.
Right, the Weeping Angels. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
There's so many.
Oh, no, but you're thinking of, I know what you're talking about, the ones who,
The Peter Capaldi.
they make you forget every time you see them.
Yeah.
Those ones are freaky.
I hate the corner dogs. They are so spooky. The idea that something would attack you through this little corner. But there's also something, I can't remember its name, but it like grows out of a plant from like out of your mouth, and then your whole body just like turns into this little bag that feeds this plant. It's this super eldritch horror. I'll find the name eventually. But that one gives me nightmares for sure. Yeah. I just think Cthulhu is actually just out of all of the weird romance novels I read, Cthulhu is just daddy. So I don't think
Because it has
scares me that
tentacles
much.
doesn't make it a romance novel.
The inclusion of tentacles kind of makes it a romance novel. Yeah. Anybody else would like to answer?
It's not actually Lovecraft, but one of my all-time most like terrifying kind of cosmic horror-y things was in Annihilation, kind of the book and the movie. But the idea that you can enter this kind of like super dimensional space and then you are like changed, like the reality of like that your physical body is like being rewritten on the inside and you have like a dim awareness that it's happening but you can't do anything about it. That's a really freaky concept to me. And then like Catherine, I also am super turned on by Cthulhu, so you know, exactly like Catherine. That's how I sold her on the podcast, actually. Yeah. She was like, "Can we fuck Cthulhu?" And I was like, I mean, if you
Can
try
we
hard
tentacle
enough.
play?
It's just like, never mind. We're going to stop that one before it starts.
All right, anyone else?
Mine's the general concept of immortality. It's fucking wild.
Yeah. Okay. Can we spend two? I have a question for Alex.
I'm sorry, Catherine. Are you the audience? No.
I listen to our podcast.
I mean, so do I, technically. Probably more so than many.
This is the longest, knowing you and playing Call of Cthulhu with you a few times, Alex. This is the longest character you've kept alive by like a lot.
By a factor of however many episodes we have. Yeah.
Yeah. In every game of Call of Cthulhu, Alex's character has died instantly. And for some reason, I think having two microphones will give me reverb between the microphones, and I keep shying away from both of them. I am a professional. I think one of the reasons that this AMA was prompted by our listeners is it did seem like you wanted Piotr to die. And
I'm looking for Leah for affirmation here. Like, yeah, so did she.
we all wanted Piotr to die. But I guess what were you running away from, I guess? Yeah, the comment that Damien made when we were talking about originally doing this AMA was Tom's death, or Lift's death, played by Tom, seemed like kind of an accident, but listeners got the feeling that Alex wasn't going to let season 2 end without Piotr dying. So I'm going to leave this to you.
Was it the jacking off while strangling himself? Was that what gave it away?
Autoerotic asphyxiation is a perfectly valid form of self-pleasure which millions of adults engage in every year.
Okay, you guys give me hell about saying that Cthulhu is daddy, and you do nothing with that?
We can't hurt Alex more than Alex has hurt Alex.
Piotr was a bit character. Piotr exemplified certain horrible tendencies in mankind, and men in particular. And when that bit is played out, the bit is done. So trying to stretch that out for longer than it needs to go, I feel like can cheapen the narrative you're trying to tell. Sometimes an arc is done, and somebody needs to die because of it.
Hell yeah. If I may, one last question. Unless you had another one.
If you don't ask the question I want to ask, then I'm going to ask another question, Brian.
Okay, fine. Then this might be one last question, and there might be one last question. This is from Drunk Spidey. For everyone, do you think your character voted for Nano Reagan? And it can just be a straight yes or no, or you can provide whatever details you think are relevant. And let's start with Alex for no reason.
It's morning in the galaxy. Of course he did.
Glade doesn't vote.
Oh,
He's tough on crime. Of course we voted for him.
Tom, where are the crimes?
We need tough love. Have you seen what we've been doing?
That's fair. Juno 100% voted for NanoReagan.
It was the tax break. It couldn't resist that tax break.
It was 100% the tax break. It was 100% the tax break. Catherine, vehemently against NanoReagan, even though he's so dark-scarred and little and cute.
he's so cute. That's
so
how
cute.
That's how he won his term.
That was the same question I wanted to ask as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And then, okay. Doug, absolutely not. Doug didn't vote for NanoReagan. The Scotsman, actually, no. That might surprise some people. The hospital did not vote for NanoReagan, but the armory did.
The ballot was delicious, though, the hospital thought.
Yes, the ballot was incredibly tasty and paired nicely with a Chianti. And then one
What
more.
about Caspi?
Caspi? Caspi was too young to vote for NanoReagan. That's a cop-out. He would have, though. he campaigned for NanoReagan. He's just part of, like, he got in some bad forums, and then he basically got radicalized, and then he managed to find his way out of it, probably because of his friendship with Glade.
See, this is why I don't understand, like, the audience being like, why are you killing off your character? We all voted for NanoReagan. All of these characters deserve to die.
It was either that or
100%.
Giga Nixon.
Glade
dude.
didn't.
Yeah, between NanoReagan and Giga Nixon, like, they didn't really have good choices, you know? Alrighty, Catherine, I'll let you close off the AMA.
For those listening live here, I am sorry the audio quality is so bad. But we will be releasing the good audio quality AMA coming up on Sunday
For sure.
as well. Thank you so much for tuning in and sending in questions and just supporting us and for having fun with us and having some laughs. We really appreciate you. And questions that we didn't get to today, we will do our best to wrap the rest of them up in a season 2 wrap up as well.
Hell yeah. Nothing to add.
I love how when we fuck something up, Catherine just goes into full Sarah Palin voice and it's like, oh boy, I am so sorry about that, eh?
Well, can we just...
We're sorry, guys.
Well, on that note, can we just end with a big I love you to our listeners?
Absolutely.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Love you.
Listeners.
Love you, listeners.
Flawless. Okay, bye.
Bye, bitches.
Alrighty, thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you would like to ask us some questions in our upcoming Season 2 recap, post them in the AMA forum that Catherine created on our Discord. You can find that link in our bio. As you might have noticed, this is the only episode coming out on Sunday. We wanted to get episode 11 done, but unfortunately, I've been very busy recently. I can't give too many details, but if you look in the background of the upcoming season of a popular Western TV show, you might see me, which is why I have been a little bit behind on the editing, which is pretty cool. That being said, episode 11, I'm hoping to have done by next Sunday. At this time of recording, we recorded episode 12, and we are looking at recording episode 13. So you guys are going to get a lot of season 2, and we love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.